Down the Rabbit Hole podcast, mate. We are back, episode 3.
What's up?
How you been, man? Where you been? I've been calling you over to the crib.
No, I've just been around. It's busy work, you know how it is.
I
back
do
today.
know how it is, mate. We got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, we do.
Episode 3 is, man, the world's in a weird place.
As it always is, I guess.
As it always is. As it always is.
It's part of the course for the year, I guess.
And there's a lot going on. Okay, let's talk about. I mean, we talked about ChatGPT as one of the top, topic points and conversation points. And bloody hell, where did artificial intelligence? Like the concept's always been there, right? But it's just so mainstream now, right?
Mate, this is the new big tech arms race going on right now.
Yep.
And I mean, I'm sure you'll explain a bit later with everything, but like, there's just been, I think every company now is trying to get their own version of, I guess, the OpenAI ChatGPT thing into their pipeline,
Into their system.
into their systems, into one of the projects that they need to have. It's the must-have now these days.
It's definitely the talking point. Let's talk about the war. Google and Microsoft. Who? Microsoft? They still have it? Halo? No, but
they're back.
this is interesting. So Microsoft, off the back of ChatGPT, they're invested, still got to check on that one, $10 billion into ChatGPT.
Mate, they've gone all in.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, we saw this week, I guess, the two presentations. They
Yes.
chose the same week to do these presentations as well.
Coincidence? I don't think not.
We saw Google and their presentation, and man, what a blunder.
Okay, forget about before we go to Google, what about the Microsoft presentation? Did you have a look at it?
Yes, I was actually very impressed.
Would you use a Bing product though?
Well, that's the thing, right? Everyone's sort of saying, should it have been like a new brand?
Yeah.
Bing is associated with a search engine that practically no one really uses. Yeah, but the way that they've integrated, I've got to say, is actually pretty good.
They're doing it in Microsoft Edge as well. That is their new browser.
So the way it's
right?
integrated is that it's obviously going to be in their search. When you search for something, like if you ask it a question on the right, I mean, from a user interface perspective, it doesn't look that great. Because that looks like the actual chat box. It looks different to the search results, like from a design perspective.
Yep.
And to the eye, there's too many things going on. But what you can do is you can go into like a deeper sort of chat GPT like sort of experience where you just ask it questions and it comes back out with you with answers
While simultaneously searching, right?
Yeah. And the why I thought it was impressive is also how they integrated it into their browser Edge. So
Yes.
I saw a demo where I think they were looking at financial results for a company. And it was a PDF document basically.
Yeah.
And it asked you just click the extension in Edge, and then it says, can you compare this, or can you make it like a summary, 5 keynotes? It's like a 20-page document.
Yep.
And it, like in seconds, it just made
saw
those. It made like 5 points. And then it says, oh, can you compare this to, this other company's financial results? And it made a table comparing the results like within a matter of seconds.
No work to do anymore. You don't have to read. It's great.
Yeah. I mean, it is. I mean, we said it was scary a couple of weeks ago, right?
It is scary.
It is scary, but this is very useful. It's going to cut down a lot of time wasting in terms of researching, I guess.
sure.
But I would just wonder, like, what is how does it get verified? Because I mean, we'll talk about later how we saw there is a lot of mistakes that can
Google
happen.
stuff, yeah.
The Google
Yep,
stuff.
yep.
There's a lot of mistakes that can happen. But it's something that I think Microsoft is a bit more open to the feedback, and they sort of know that there can be mistakes. And
Yes. Yes. So there's so many talking points there. One is the leg up that Microsoft have is if they can integrate it within their Office suite, which is still used by so many people, it is a game changer.
They are actually,
And that is a product differentiation. But yeah, as you were saying, it's so hard. It's so like when you go in a search, like remember back in the day we were talking about Google, the internet was Google because you'd set your homepage. Like Google has such massive brand equity that even the little blunder that we'll talk about that they've done, it's still very hard, right? That and being visually just feels childish. When you compare it to like the aesthetically clean lines, we're talking about design perspective here. But look, they'll win if the product is there. And in this version of the war, they've
Well, here's what the CEO, Satya Nadella, says. Shout out to the brown boy. Shout out to the brown boys in the tech space. We all there. He basically said that Microsoft has nothing to lose.
Oh, they don't.
In this
when you're at the bottom, you can just go.
yeah, we're at the bottom.
Well, yeah.
They have nothing to lose against Google, right? Google has everything to lose.
Yep.
But Microsoft, they're just going to integrate it and try it out and see what. I mean, to them, it's an opportunity, really.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, they've gone in with a good attitude, and I like how it integrates. But I'm just from a marketing perspective, and we both work in the marketing field. We just there's a lot of negativity that's attached to the Bing brand, and whether it was something they could have just relaunched Bing with something with a new name.
Yep.
But this has all just sort of happened very quickly, right?
Oh, for sure.
And they maybe didn't have time to rebrand something like Bing. So
look, what they've done that's smart
tough.
is pounced on ChatGPT. So you would think that a technology company such as Microsoft would have nowhere near the same infrastructure and tech talent that Google does.
Yeah.
But they've captured the media storm of ChatGPT, which has rave reviews, whatever you want to call it, right? People are impressed by it. Let's just put it. It's good.
Yeah.
It's pretty good for what it is.
It's good, but it's also you have to go to like different websites to get it working, and like it's just
the access is clunky.
Yeah,
so the view would be
yeah.
to use the infrastructure to integrate it within the Microsoft ecosystem. But I think we're at an important time in technology where something like AI is not new. So I just find it really interesting that over the last couple of months this has surfaced, coincidentally.
Yeah.
And we're utilizing concepts that are not new to reshuffle the deck and to allow the upstart, calling Microsoft as an upstart is ridiculous, but to allow these companies to have a foot in the door for these conversations because, competition breeds innovation. And for the longest of time, they're right. Like, the Google search, how it's looked has stayed the same. It's really arbitrary.
Yeah.
Does it work? Of course it works, but there's no other options anyway. So can it be better? Of course it can be better.
Yeah, I mean, Google actually, so Microsoft actually uses OpenAI.
Yep.
And that's what they've sort of funded and budgeted, $10 billion invested into that. Google's using their own technology called Lambda, which is a bit different from ChatGPT. It's similar in what it does.
Yep.
But it is their own sort of thing that they've developed themselves, right?
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, you just can't beat the technology that's in ChatGPT. I reckon OpenAI is, I think, it's an open source one, as we said before.
Yep.
But it's something that's gonna, I think, grow even bigger than what it is right now. The actual technology of it.
For sure.
Because I could see what I could see potentially is people even selling like an AI. You know how we have chatbots websites, right, for companies.
Yep.
You could sell an AI version of it that scans your whole website, and you don't need customer service anymore. Really, you can just have.
That's one of the scary elements.
Yeah.
There's certain job professions that are,
even when I guess voice technology gets to a point where it's indiscernible, you could really have an automated, like a robot voice assistant answering calls for you. That is a stage where we say it's scary. Right? It's taking jobs from people, from those guys in India and the Philippines. So
But, they're jobs, right? Yeah. I think what Microsoft. Now let's talk about these presentations, because I think the presentations in themselves and the posturing that occurs between these tech companies. When did it become en vogue to sit down on YouTube and look at a tech company's presentation? Like it is a thing. When did it become a thing? It became a thing with the iPhones, right? But anyway,
yes. Steve Jobs made it a thing.
They made it a thing, right? Because you think about it a decade ago, why would the average Joe Blow sit and listen to a tech up? And now people do it. Yeah, people are listening to it. But anyway, before that, I think what Microsoft did really well was acknowledging that there will be mistakes.
Yeah.
And they kind of opened that door in case there was a mistake in the presentation.
Yeah, they've got a system within the actual chat to say, provide feedback. Was it good? Was it bad?
Yeah.
Was this a mistake? Was it the right answer? They sort of understand that it's not 100% yet.
Of course.
Right?
it's the earliest versions of this technology. But tell me, what happened in the Google Alphabet presentation? Because this is hilarious.
Oh man, I feel bad for the presenter. I forgot her name, but
I saw the video.
yeah,
I think for her sake, it's probably good we do. Me too.
they were trying to show. I think it was like she was.
It was a shirt, right?
It was a shirt, right?
Yeah.
She was trying to find a shirt in a specific color,
And the opposite colors.
and the opposite color came up, and then she was just like, "Where's the phone? Where's the phone?" Right?
What does the phone got to do with the color?
No, she's where's the phone? Because she said it's a live demonstration, right?
Ah, okay.
And then she's like, "Where's the phone? Where's the phone?" And then they're like,
It's pre-recording that.
and then they're just like, "Move on, move on."
Yeah. Oh, that's tough.
But yeah, that was a bit of an awkward situation.
Yeah.
But I guess the reality of the situation was that Google lost $100 million on that. On
Yes.
their stock price.
So this is the bad thing. So what happened before as well is they had a query that they put up, and one of the responses was incorrect.
Yeah,
effectively, right?
about like I think
Tell us.
the James Webb Telescope
Yes,
and
yeah.
when it's gone outside, exoplanets and stuff like that.
I mean, how does that get? Don't people fact check that? It's just like it was a presentation, right?
Yeah, I mean, for a big company like that to
It's weird, right?
make a bit of a stuff up like that, that is weird. But I mean, we'll talk about it later. There's been a lot of layoffs at tech
Oh
companies.
yeah. But
Maybe they're working on skeleton stuff.
yeah, right. But you can't fact check a presentation. Okay, there are a couple of things to unpack here. Yeah. One is the fact that these two presentations, or whatever you want to call it, happened in the same week.
Yeah,
it looked like a reaction.
Yeah,
like we got to do something because our competitors are doing something, and in that regard, pretty rushed. And secondly, I mean, we know that Google has a strong, stable suite of products and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
And it did look like their version of it was a response and not really a considered response. Exhibit A, the two sort of blunders that kind of occurred, right? So
Google, it's a bit weird, isn't it? Like, because like they showed like 3 or 4 years ago that the voice assistant chatting to, like, you know, basically taking your calls and acting like it was a real voice, like whoever was talking to it thought it was a real voice.
Yeah.
And doing your appointments for you, and that was like 3 or 4 years ago. And there's two different philosophies of how they handle this. Microsoft want to integrate it into everything.
Yeah.
Google want to make it its separate sort of thing, right?
But Google is integrating it within the search, right?
I don't think it's integrating it the way that Bing is.
Yep.
So, I mean, they've. I mean, even now, I think is Bing available? That the Bing AI, like, is that available right now?
No. There's a list.
Yeah, and it's the same with, I think, with Google's one as well. Bard is that it's
Bard hasn't, as of now, Bard hasn't been released.
It's a separate thing only to select people that it can.
They're testing
to test it. I mean that I think is also reflective of how expensive it is to run this type of tech.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
ChatGPT learned that, and that's why they introduced a pricing model.
How much internet bandwidth? Like, does it?
I think it takes a lot. Yeah. I think it takes a lot. That's why it's expensive to run.
So if I'm in a third world country, will I be able to access it? Like,
you should be able to access it, but like it's just.
You mean the
actual tech of it
behind it? Of course,
behind the scenes is expensive to run.
Yeah.
But I mean, those two philosophies. One of Google's to just sort of have its own separate sort of thing, and people are like, well, this is not really that impressive. It's just basically ChatGPT.
Yep.
And then it was Bing Microsoft that wants to include it in everything, in their browsers, in their software, in their searches. So, I mean, some people say that. I mean, like we said, like, you know, integrating to Bing maybe is not the best idea because of the brand, sort of the strength of the brand isn't that great. But I mean, we'll just have to see what sort of wins. I have a feeling it'll be something completely different. I don't think it'll be any of these things that will be the thing that has the mass adoption sort of thing, right?
Yep.
It could even be that it just your voice assistants, it makes them even more sort of conversational.
Yep.
Right? Like, I don't know if you've seen that movie Her by Joaquin Phoenix.
No, the dating one, right?
Yeah. I mean, it could end up being something like that, right?
Yeah.
Where it's just sort of talking to you like a person, and then it's sort of coming up with all its information within microseconds. So, I mean, what is the technology that's going to sort of be mass adoption? No one knows, but I think this is the year of AI. I think we're going to find
This
out.
is the mainstream year of it definitely popping up in searches. I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
Yep. We're in an interesting time where technology has really intersected into the mainstream. You can see it with the obsession with social media, phones, gotta have this, gotta have that.
Yeah.
This is the next evolution of it, but one wonders what the next evolution, what the recourse or what the repercussions are on human society.
And I think this all started with AI art, if you believe that, right?
Yeah, I saw
that AI art craze, which was a trend, right? It
Yep.
was a trend in social media.
Yep.
Everything from Mid-Journey to all that sort of stuff. It's just sort of, these last couple of months have just been all about AI and how we can use...
I find that interesting though. Like, I just feel like we are aware of the like, why now? Like, I feel like it's all of a sudden there. I mean, there's no doubt that this technology, who knows, like the military, people are being used, right? Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is not new stuff. Like, why is it now?
Us peasants get to have it now. That's what yes. The military's had this for ages.
You know what? You can have some really... I've gone out of my way to chat GPT, like to have some fun conversations, and I threw a bone. I put like ...
Yeah.
Called it bro. Told it to chill out, Tony Robbins. You need to stop motivating me. And like, you can have some intense conversations, but Google and Microsoft, keep your eyes on here because ding, ding, round one.
Tech arms race, man.
Tech arms race. That's it. Okay, speaking about the tech scene, geez, layoffs. Layoffs Central. Let me give you some top line numbers, yeah? And this is obviously not exhaustive. And don't slam me if these numbers are incorrect, okay? Like, this is... I didn't check ChatGPT because it's not, it's not up to date. It's not up to date, all right? Anyway, Google laid off 12,000 staff.
Oof.
Microsoft, 10,000. Amazon, around 18,000. Salesforce, 7,000. Meta, 11,000. Twitter, 3.7 thousand. Tesla, 6,000. News Corp, just recently in Australia, 12,000, 1,250.
What's going on?
And that's not exhaustive.
Yeah.
It's like there's
Across
heaps
the
more.
Yeah, across the board.
Tech.
Silicon Valley going down?
No. Well, look, there's no doubt the economy is slower. We're bracing for slower growth.
I think we've got to see, I mean, these numbers, right?
Yeah.
You got to see what is the percentage of the, I guess, the employees of that company. I've heard anything from
they're decent. Like Google is a decent chunk. Microsoft, 18,000. They're good. Some of them are just under 10%.
Ooh.
Look, we're bracing ourselves for slower growth. Being these companies, and it's an inflationary environment. Consumers are spending less. I mean, all of these companies that work in the sphere, they're not
spending as much.
Not essential service company, i.e., like even in a recession, I got to drive around, so the fuel I need to fill in fuel, right?
Yeah.
I need to eat, like that. That's going to happen. You don't see Coles and Woolies. These are, I wouldn't say like discretionary, but like, you know, these are companies that there's a combination of elements. Like some of them overhired during the pandemic. I think the easiest one to put it is Amazon. They've stated
yes, that
to factor for the demand, and the demand is no longer there. But the other thing is like for a lot of these sort of tech companies, it's a heavy engineering. I mean, some of them are HR. Look, I think the numbers that I've just put here, just 100,000 jobs, like maybe just under, and it's not exhaustive. Where are these guys going to go? They're all in the tech space.
100,000 people.
There was a time, and this is around the whole world, by the way. There was a time, not too long, especially, you know, during the Australian, in the Australian economy, which is where we're talking about, that, you know, these tech jobs were going for a lot of money. Like there was a hiring problem, right? Like it kind of still is. It's a really odd one, but just by putting the numbers out there, there are a lot of highly skilled people without a job that are going to take not any job that they get, but there's going to be a lot of competition. There's going to be a lot of competition for jobs. And, you know, if the economy and the market for spending in conjunction with the interest rate rises, and in Australia we've had 7, God ridiculous. Damn, like it's tough. Yeah. It's really tough out there, and we're feeling it. But I think I mean, what are your thoughts on just the sheer numbers here?
Well, I've heard of the response from the companies, right? And
that's where I wanted to go.
And
firing by email. I know you got to use the tech, but what? It's terrible.
Well, it is hard to do 100,000 face-to-face interviews in a short amount of time.
I didn't think about it,
but yeah,
that's intense.
The response by the companies, and they said that they're hiring more people, which I don't believe. Like they're hiring more people than they're fired, right? Is what they're saying.
Some, not all, but yes, yeah.
But I mean, yeah, you're right. Where do they go? I mean, do they just stop?
The labor market is like any market, supply and demand. So, I mean, they go back into the queue looking for a job. And again, these are skilled jobs. I'm not saying other industries are not, but Google, Microsoft, Amazon, Salesforce, Meta. I mean, these are engineers. Engineers, 6 figures and plus. Like, these are not like...
a lot of these companies... I mean, we talked about how, like, I guess Microsoft and Google going all in on AI, right? Yeah. But we've seen Meta go all in on VR and AR.
And where is it now?
But they have scaled back a lot of their plans because of the environment, right?
Well, you need money to fund this research, right?
I don't know if you heard of the Oculus Quest 2. It actually went up in price.
Inflation. It costs more to produce. I can believe that.
Yeah, I mean, that and also the PS5 I've heard also up in price as well.
Yeah.
Inflation is hitting these companies hard because less people are going to be buying. And you're right, it's going to create less demand. So,
yeah, I mean, they got to play a bit of defense, and the easiest way to recoup some of the...
But that's a massive...
Like, I haven't
people.
said all the numbers yet.
Yeah.
I've picked top line, and that's not to discount smaller sort of companies. It's happening. It's happening across the board.
And a lot of these people all live in Silicon Valley. I just wonder how it is over there. Maybe...
Well, it has a kickback on rental
leaving,
stuff.
I guess people leaving Silicon Valley, going back home.
It's some tough times.
Yeah, it's tough.
It's really tough times. Amidst this, check out have you heard this? So Zoom, you're familiar with Zoom, right?
Yeah.
The CEO, Eric Yuan, my boy. So he had to lay off 1,300 employees.
Yeah.
And he did it the only way he knew.
Via
Sent an email.
Oh, an email. So not even via Zoom. Oh, my God.
I don't think the Zoom can handle 1,000. Can you imagine that Zoom made everyone will take? They can. I'm pretty sure.
Actually, I heard Zoom can handle I think it was 100,000. Something like that.
Zoom was anyway. So I had to let them go, and then he said, "You know what? We as the executives need to bear the brunt of it." So he reduced his pay packet by 98%. It's rumored like 10,000. His pay packet's going to go to 10,000 for the year.
$10,000 a year.
The CEO.
Wow.
Altruistic, I think not. Yeah, well, I don't know. And then
he's already made a lot of money.
Off the top of that, the share price surges by 10%. What is happening here? Seriously, some of these...
It's a good PR move, I gotta say.
That's what I was thinking. Like, I mean,
that's why it's gone up.
Conspiracy theorist in me what world are we living in? This is insane.
Maybe he did it to put the stock price up. He knew they was going to do that, I reckon. Maybe he did it like, he said, "Oh, if I cut my, salary down to $10,000,
that's
investors will love that. Stakeholders love that."
And apparently the lead executives are also getting pay cuts, maybe not as exuberant as him, but it's interesting. Again, we live in just such interesting times.
You reckon that whole industry is heading for a big crash?
What industry?
The tech industry. Silicon Valley.
I think...
or do you think they're just taking these hits right now?
Yeah. So in tech, there are a couple of elements that you need to consider. One is, let's take a company like Google. Very easy, right? The bread and butter of how they make money is search.
Yeah.
It's search, it's PPC, pay per click, all that, right? Yeah. The other stuff is distraction. Yeah. It really is. Search is the 80% of their, 20% of their
the
portfolio.
ads also would be.
It is, but it's all underpinned by search, right?
Yeah.
So the other stuff are bets.
Yeah.
It costs money to make bets. Yeah. A lot of these bets don't go through at all. They make nothing.
Like Google Stadia.
Correct. Amazon is exactly the same thing. Amazon doesn't make amazing money on their... What are they known for? Amazon's known for their products, right?
Yeah.
They don't make a lot of money there because they undercut everyone. There's no money to be made. You know where Amazon makes money from? AWS.
Yes, the service. Yes,
the service.
Yes, right. Yeah,
so I guess what I'm saying is, if you think about that, 20% of your product portfolio funds 80% of your revenue generation in a market where that 20% is going to be pulled down just because the market is contracting anyway.
Yeah.
They need to cut jobs.
Yeah.
So it's not about, and that's why, have you heard about virtual reality and all that by Meta recently?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, well,
it's less, right? What I mean is it's less, right?
They've scaled back 100%.
Yeah,
They've
because
scaled back.
they're double downing on. They need to make the money.
They had all these plans for
exactly.
like 6-7 devices.
Yeah.
They were pumping like billions of dollars, $40 billion, I think.
Yeah.
Mark Zuckerberg was pumping into the metaverse. And then it feels like some of those plans have been scaled back now. Because
a lot of the plans have been scaled back. And it's not only Facebook, it's not only Meta. And the manifestation of what you're seeing is this stuff. It's to power ideology, innovation, in a direction that's very different to what the base companies have been doing.
We can bring this back to AI. Like they're making bets on that though still. Like $10 billion worth of bets on AI Microsoft is making.
Still got to spend money. You still got to spend money. I mean, 10 how much did Microsoft? 10,000 staff. I don't know how much that cleared away in the balance sheet. But you still need to make bets. This is a tough thing. Business is business. It's not charity. It's a tough thing to say. And you got to make for companies, a recession and a boom. These are known concepts, right? Like we're coming off a massive chunk of growth.
Yeah,
the whole world is coming off a massive chunk of growth. I mean, we haven't seen a recession since probably the great. I mean, we had one in 2001. Like we had levels of it, maybe not as big.
2003.
The fact that we can't even think about it just shows how prosperous things have been.
Yeah.
So what goes down will come up, vice versa, the same way. It doesn't mean you stop investing. It just means that where you had maybe 3 stabs at making bets, it needs to go to 2. Because there needs to be financial prudence, and that's how businesses that last. I mean, there's a whole other topic in debate about just Silicon Valley as a whole. A lot of these organizations are run off seed funding. I mean, it's rumored that Spotify still hasn't made money. Netflix, operating profit maybe consistently in second quarters. Like how does this happen? A product that's so ingrained and like how's it still running? Like it's with same thing for Netflix. They're not exactly making heaps of money, right?
Netflix last year
streaming as a whole, like you only need to lose 1 or 2%. And you know what people are realizing now that things are bloody, it's causing me $4 to buy a bloody avocado. I can't afford that. I can't afford damn avocado. I thought we had heaps of avocados.
Oh, you're just like smashed avo in the mornings. That's all right.
Yeah, buddy. It's the only thing I can eat. I can't, like, first world problems. These avocados are so damn expensive. I don't even know what I was talking about.
Expensive. It's expensive.
It's just really expensive. And decisions need to be made. It's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough. Yeah. It's tough. Okay. All right. Spin the wheel. The China spy balloon fiasco. I want to get into this one. What happened? It was a balloon, man. I inflated a balloon in my country. I have no damn control over the wind. It just went at Montana. Nothing happens. Was it Yellowstone? I was just looking at the Yellowstone.
We'll just look at the volcano. We're just trying to see what's wrong with it.
We're trying to get Zoom to work. Okay. What happened here?
So China was sent a balloon satellite into America to get TikTok to work. I don't know what they were doing with this, man. Like, obviously, I mean, there's tensions rising, man.
Of course.
Between a lot of these big powers.
And there's tension everywhere at the moment.
They had this balloon, which was visible to a lot of people on the ground as well. That's what...
How is that possible when these balloons are really high up?
It was big. It was a big balloon. And
can't be visible on the ground, surely.
It was. People with their phones and...
Yeah, I saw that.
I
thought that was a telescope shot.
No, there was literally someone on their phone and they zoomed in.
The new Samsung Galaxy 700X zoom, man.
You can zoom into the moon. But they zoomed in and you could see it was like a satellite and there was a balloon attached to it. And yeah,
And the boys shut it down.
Joe, man, he shut it down. He's like,
Joe's like,
they waited until it was near the sea.
it went over the sea
It was
because
going
of
to
the
be
debris, right?
It was going to be a risk to a lot of the citizens on the ground with it.
Oh my
they shot
God.
it down, but yeah, he shot it down, and then man, China were pissed.
What do you? Okay, hold up. Okay. Let's
It should
take.
be. This is how China is like these days, right? Like they do something like that, and then it should be America that's pissed,
Exactly.
off, right? But the China's pissed that you shot it down.
No.
Like, come on.
Yeah, I'm the Chinese embassy. Look, it was a weather balloon. Okay, we put the coordinates wrong. Like someone was having a bit of soju. Actually, that's Japan. And they put the coordinates wrong. It went a little bit into Montana. It was a mistake. Like you could have let us go back. It was going backwards against the wind. But no, you had to shoot it down.
It was only 7,000 kilometers.
Yeah,
drift.
we made a mistake. It happens.
Happens all the time.
Oh man, can you imagine like the individual like in charge of that at China's like, buddy, you don't have a job. Go back to LinkedIn. Update
Man,
that
over
profile.
there, man, they don't just fire you, man.
Oh, man.
They make you disappear over there.
Yeah. Okay, so look, yeah, you know what the funny thing is? Like it's not that this is not the first. This is a lot of these things are just. It's the fact that it was spotted by individuals, mainstream attention, because there's been underlying tensions between China and US. This is not new at all. The fact that people can see it now,
it's not going to help, man.
Yeah, of course, it's definitely not going to help.
Because like apparently the Secretary of State was
he
meant to
cancelled
go
his meeting
to China, to Beijing, and cancelled it because of this.
Yeah, because it'd be sending the wrong message. What message are you sending? You shot the thing down.
It's like, you guys were in airspace and we shut it down. That's about it.
Like you said, I just don't understand on what ground you can sit and say like, how dare you shoot it?
How dare you?
It wasn't doing anything. I mean, it might have had explosives, but it wasn't doing anything.
Just trying to improve TikToks around the US.
It was just measuring air quality. We just want to see what you guys do. When we realized it was just more trees. So we went to Montana. Like, honestly.
Well, this is like, this happened a couple of days ago. This morning, I don't know if you heard.
What happened?
America shot down another one of these things. They didn't say whether it was a balloon.
Where's these balloons all coming up?
I don't think it was. They said it was some unidentified object. So it could have been a UFO.
Could have been a UFO. It was definitely a UFO.
Some people saying
it's probably Joe Rogan shut it down.
Joe Rogan, yeah, Joe Rogan shut it down. It's like, don't worry, Biden, I got you.
There must be like rednecks everywhere. It's like, you know what? We're patriots. We're gonna walk around. Anything we see there,
we're gonna aim it from the ground. We're gonna get it. But yeah, there's another one shot down this morning, and mate, is this some sort of precursor to the war?
What is happening? Seriously, what is happening in the world, man? I just like this silliness.
This looks pretty bad for China, doesn't it? Like it looks like they're trying to stoke the flames.
I mean, but it's so basic, right? In the sense that,
because if it was flipped, right?
Yeah.
Imagine if the US did that, and they had a little balloon flying over Beijing. They would see that as an act of war, and they would.
You reckon?
Yeah.
It's an act of war when you enter another country's airspace anyway.
Yeah.
The war has been initiated.
The fact that it's a spy satellite.
Well, look, I think they're picking it up. They're deconstructing it.
I saw something else. Like there was some other satellite over the US. Oh no, this is the Chinese satellite in space. Was sending down lasers to the US, and it was like a green light show. I was like, "What the earth?
Sure, that wasn't
what on earth is going on?"
Yeah, man.
Like, I mean, are these two countries about to go to war, man? Like, what's going on? Because these seem like war tactics, right? You send your drones in, survey the area.
But
this is a lot of pre-war stuff.
This has been happening.
But this seems like it's just sort of ramped up.
We're just aware of it.
We're
just aware of it now. It's definitely been happening. Like, you think the US are not doing the same thing?
The US is probably doing the same thing.
Everyone is. You think right? Like there must be balloons everywhere. No, I'm not looking.
Now looking at the skies now.
Oh, shotgun over here. Just for national safety, you need to shoot these things down. But these things have been happening. It got
I'm not 100% sure, but I think there was another one of these in Europe somewhere.
Oh, I have no doubt. Like they're so like. You could say it's precursor, but you could say it's due diligence. You have to do your due diligence, right? But the fact that it's been caught, the whole world is talking about it. You're right. It's not a good look. I think China using it to stoke, the nationalism, the fire there. I mean, like, on what grounds? Like, of course we're going to shoot it down.
That
like,
foreign press, they're
brutal.
They love giving press conferences, man. See them, they're like,
it's just like a Dave Chappelle.
Outrageous!
What are you talking about?
This is outrageous! Why did you shoot it down? It's like, mate, why are you doing the airspace? That doesn't matter.
That has nothing to do with you shooting it down.
You should have shot it down.
Oh man, it's just what is happening?
Scary time.
It is.
It's the scary time. It continues, man. It's been continuing since COVID, and now it's continuing into 2023.
That's why you need to watch this podcast, just to be aware.
We go in on this shit.
Just go in. Speaking of scary times in the world, the Turkish and Syrian earthquake, man. This is a somber one. This is apparently one of the biggest earthquakes, maybe not by Richter scale, but by just devastation. Over 20,000 people. Man, it actually hurts my heart. 7.8 in magnitude. Hits Turkey and Syria. Oh, I don't know. I don't know if you've read some of the things and seen.
I've seen some of the things,
brutal,
and
man.
it is brutal.
How
This has got to be one of the biggest natural disasters in a while, right?
Yeah.
Like this, 20,000 people.
And counting. To be honest, it's more than that.
It's more than that. It's way more than that. And because we've also got this is in Syria as well.
Yes.
Where I don't think numbers are going to be coming out anytime soon. But yeah, this is going to be one of the biggest ones. And I don't even remember whether this area has had something like this, like earthquakes. I mean, I know that it sits on like three tectonic plates, and it's just. Yeah, I mean, like that, it's shocking, some of the images that you see coming out.
And your heart goes out for it. I mean, in between that, you hear like stories of survival, which you hear across the board. But man, like, again, it's in Syria, like it's in water, like,
I mean, that country has already been devastated.
Exactly. Testy sort of areas. Yeah, we just prayers out. I don't even know what to say to that. It's just so sad. If you can help, if you can donate, obviously.
100% donate, man. They need it. Because
they need as much help as they can get.
It is a very dire situation.
Man, there was some human beings, you see the best in people and you just see like the worst in people, and social media brings it out. I saw, I think on Facebook, which is like the worst place to be reading stuff, but like, it showed that the Australian government has donated like money, right?
Yeah.
Good wad. Good on them. And then I saw some of like the comments, and you think, how can you have a negative comment about that, right? There's no way you can have a negative comment. And people are like, hey, Albanese, you thought about consulting us, the taxpayer. Like, how can you think like that? Like, what the hell? Like, that makes... Serious.
I've sort of just gotten sick of Facebook. I really have. Yeah. I just don't like it. I mean, not even just Facebook. There's a lot of social media I just don't really like these days. It's very negative.
It's the same people.
Something like that, you think that really you are going to... I couldn't think of someone having that mindset, at least in person, right? Yeah, here you go.
Well, you have it, but if you have the mindset, you have the mindset. You're just not vocalizing.
Yeah.
I mean, the human beings spectrum, right?
How you cannot feel
to each your own, but when all you've got to say is if that's your family, in that situation, like you have relatives there, and it's dire, man. Like their infrastructure is not good to begin with in the first place. So I can't imagine any of these. Like reading some of the reports, it was said that like geologists and individuals were telling that something like this was going to happen, and then people are angry about it. But I'm like, bro, like what could they have done? Seriously, what, evacuate, tell people to leave when something is not there? Like that is so hard, right?
It's hard to prepare for. You can't really
prepare for it. What, tell them to move? Like these are not. It's
people ain't moving. So
it's sad, man. It's really sad. Prayers up for Turkey and Syria.
Yeah,
donate, help them if you can.
100% donate.
Okay. Oh man, it's a tough episode. All right, let's move on. The Aussie media whinging. Is that a word? The India to cricket test. Tell me what's happening. What's happening?
I'm gonna get a bunch of haters for this. Wait. Okay. So, mate, there's this cricket series going on. India Australia just started this week. The Border Gavaskar Trophy.
Oh yeah.
And always has been top of the line contest in terms of cricket, right? It's the top contest in world cricket, I would say.
Where both teams ranked again?
1 and 2. So
There you go.
yeah, and they produce some spectacular series, really close matches. Now, a lot of the Australian cricket media have this week criticized India and the pitches that are in India, right? They're saying that they favor spin bowlers and they are doctoring the pitches to help.
How can they doctor the pitches? Doesn't the pitch have to be left how it is?
With the pitch, how a cricket pitch is made is that it's made by the ground staff. And they, I mean, there's like certain terms and like you sort of bake the pitch in a way, right?
Yep.
And they're saying that, the Australians are saying, because it's not a fast bowler's heaven, that it must be something that's pitch doctored and favouring the home team, right?
Yep.
Which they have no problem with favouring the home team when it comes to their home series where they've got pitches that 100% favour the fast bowlers.
Yep.
We saw, a couple of months ago when South Africa toured here, there was a pitch that was literally green, meaning it was great for swing bowling and great for fast bowls. The Australian media has just gone on this barrage of saying that pitch doctoring. I'm sorry, man. This is a bunch of whinging, man. Come on, like really, like you're gonna whinge to this level. You're supposed to be elite level sportsmen. The top of their game. This is top of world cricket. If you're a top level team, you can play in any condition. And
are they winning or losing?
The match, it's a close match. I mean, anything can happen. And the pitch itself actually hasn't turned as much as they thought it would. So it's a bit, stupid, I'd say, from the Australian cricket media. They've overblown this, and they've not just overblown that. They do this every single time. They overblow things to make India look like this, that no one's challenging them because they're top of the world cricket in terms of power. But, like, it's just ridiculous. It's gone to stupid levels now where... I mean, there was, during the match is going on, one of the players, Indian spinners, he had pain relief cream on his hand, so he put it on, right? Now the Australian media is like, okay, he must be using that to, influence something on the ball and, turning it. It's like, okay, you can't even put freaking pain relief cream in your hand without the Australian media coming after you. So it's just a bit of a ridiculous situation. I mean, the Indian team, when they toured Australia... They cop it from the media, right? They cop it from the Australian media here. And It's been happening for 20 years. But, the last 2 series, India has won in situations where, they look like they were going to get completely whitewashed in this series. But they've won, and they've won pretty well. So
What, the Indian team?
Yeah, and the last time they came here, they won with a bunch of teenagers who don't know how to... Well, basically, because all the big players were injured... The Kohlis and all, they've all gone home, and they won with a bunch of youngsters who were just here on their first trip. That shows that, you don't, the pitch, all this sort of stuff, take that out of the equation. If you're a top level team, you're on that level, you can win anywhere. And they've just got the excuses ready. Like before the series has even started. It's a bit ridiculous. I mean, in sporting terms, you can understand, like it's pretty stupid for the excuses to be ready before you even start the match.
Yep.
Like if it's a negative mindset, right? In any sport.
Yep.
Why you would do that I don't understand the Australian sports media.
Oh, no. Controversy sells.
Controversy sells. Yeah,
I think it's more an indictment and reflection of just where sports media and just media as a whole is going. Negative stuff sells. It clicks.
Yeah.
It is like instead of say if your narrative coming in is like the sanctity of the game, 2 combat teams go head to head, like it's not as much fun as they doctor the pitch. I can see it. They're aiming for that spot there, man. He tapped it twice. Man. Something is going on there. They got Murley to teach them how to spin. Like it sucks. It sucks, but I mean, you know me. I'm a big NBA guy, right?
Yeah.
Like I like the drama just as much as I like the game.
I mean, the drama adds to it, right? The drama adds to
they love it.
The spice of the
They love a
series.
whinge.
They love a whinge. But I just think it's a negative mindset.
It is
as well,
negative.
right? If you're, I mean, I don't know whether the players are thinking this. A lot of the Australian commentators are now commentating on this series on the ground. They're saying, yeah, this hasn't actually spinned that much.
Yeah.
There's been not really that big of a home advantage.
These are TV commentators, right?
Yeah.
So what I wonder is, like, in a production room, you go in and then like a commentary team, they pitch ideas and narratives that they like. Who is allowing these narratives in? Because that's, like I said, it's just a reflection of media and like what narratives that they're allowing, because they play such a big role, right?
Yeah.
You don't think about that, and then you sit down and you're ingesting 70 VBs while watching this thing, and you're like, you know what? That pitch does look a bit. I mean, if I was a spin bowler, I
don't think you need 70 VBs.
Sorry, 17 VBs.
17 VBs.
That's more like, but you know what I mean? Like you think, I'm ready to watch it.
Yeah.
And you can get influenced so much by the media. To me, there is a responsibility, and it's a hard one because you got to balance.
Well, that's where the actual Australian cricket team themselves, like I said, I don't know whether they think about it, but with the amount of noise that there was, they must be on their mind, because they're
of course. But has any Australian cricketer said anything about
it? No Australian cricketer has said anything, because they're going to go in with the mindset that, yeah, we're here to win a series, mate. That's all. But yeah, I mean, you really definitely would be thinking about it. It's a mental game when you think about it, right? Yeah. But that's a mental game that their own media have started on themselves.
Yeah.
Because if you're going in there thinking, oh, this pitch is going to turn, blah, 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 you're playing with that mindset then.
Of course.
You're playing thinking that it's going to turn square when it comes straight at you. So, I mean, the media, Australian media they probably did a disservice to the team if they're being pretty honest.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we'll see how it goes. The match is still going on. So,
that's it.
Go India.
I thought you can say Australia. Moving on. The Hogwarts legacy drama.
Oh,
what is
my
this?
gosh, man! So Hogwarts Legacy came out I think this week. Yeah, this week. Yeah. So, and I've bought. I haven't played it yet. But
sorry, the video game.
The video game. Yeah, it's a video game on PS5, Xbox. I don't think it's on Nintendo, but it's on PC as well.
Yep.
And everyone's raving about it. It's basically feels like, you're in the wizarding world, and it's an RPG game. You can go around, open world RPG, explore everything in Hogwarts, and it's getting rave reviews as well. So it's a pretty highly critically acclaimed game, and I think recently just broke the viewership record for Twitch views in terms of, it was like over 1 million
games that people are watching at the moment. Yep, makes sense.
And it's a very popular game. Now, over on TikTok and Twitter, great places to be. There's been a lot of controversy that, I guess anything now Harry Potter related is going to be controversial because of J.K. Rowling and her attachment to the series, and basically people saying that if you buy this game,
you support her sentiment.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
You're supporting
Come on, man.
transphobia and all this sort of stuff, which is a bit of a stretch, right? I mean, I think the franchise itself is bigger than her, bigger than J.K. Rowling. It's grown beyond her, and I'm pretty sure she had nothing to do with this game. This was something,
I mean, she's getting royalties off it.
She's getting royalties, yeah, maybe. I haven't checked that.
She would. Everything Hogwarts is like, everything in Harry Potter.
But, I mean, like, what about the hundreds, maybe thousands of people that worked on this game? Games that are bigger than movies these days, it costs like $100 million, $200 million to make.
Yeah. A good one, at least.
Yeah, and...
Wait, so when you say controversy, what do you mean? Like, they're just a large group?
People are saying... I think people have been attacking people on Twitch streams saying, oh, you shouldn't be playing this game, blah, blah, blah. You're supporting transphobia and all this sort of stuff. And it's a bit of a big thing at the moment. But, I mean, there's also the pushback to it as well, saying, like,
Of course. I mean, this is not tried and tested, but, like, iterations of this. Like, can you support the art without supporting the artist? like Chris Brown, like what he did around it back in the day. Can you still listen to his music, or does every time you listen to it, you're condoning the violence. Like it's an old tale,
Yeah.
and at a certain point, surely
Then
you can say that.
where does it end, right? Like Harvey Weinstein produced a lot of movies. Do you now not watch those movies? There was a lot of other people that worked on those movies. There was actors, there's directors, but Harvey Weinstein produced it.
Yeah.
So are those movies now just gone forever? Shawshank Redemption finished?
Man, I think people just like controversy for the sake of it. Honestly, like, yeah, you should. It's all on the individual, right? Like, if you feel strongly enough, that's your prerogative.
Yeah.
You don't have to push that prerogative there. And at the same time, you can enjoy the art and whatever's created, and that's independent. That's not a cosign of a ride with that person's mentality. Like, it's just so far. It's far off. I think. I mean,
I've bought the game. I haven't played it yet, but when I get time, I'll let you know how it goes.
It's back to that. There's just so many different people in the world, and social media is just allowing people to verbalize and share.
So what do you think this is, right? Do you think this is that these people have always existed?
Yeah, of course.
And social media now has just given them
a voice.
Yes. Or do you think this is just something that's sort of come up? Because a lot of people think it's cancel culture.
By the way, you can't say these people. Like,
oh, shit. Man, you're just trying to get me in trouble, man. Come on.
These views.
Yeah.
Like, people. I mean,
back in the day, we had the FCs, the Parents Association. Remember?
Of course, yeah.
They'll go after things like wrestling and violent video games and stuff like that.
Human beings are just so complicated. Everyone has a view. No view. I mean, yeah, complicated is the best way to see it. It's more. You don't see people saying this in person. I mean, that's a project, but you get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
You said on Twitch, you said on TikTok, with a phone, when you can break that barrier without having to physically be there.
Interesting conversation about cancel culture. Like sometimes we've seen it, people get cancelled, like deservedly so, like Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah, of course.
Creep. But we've also seen things like Dave Chappelle and like protests around Netflix offices about his jokes, right?
Yeah.
And basically having no effect. Where Netflix is like, nope, we're sticking with Dave.
Well,
I'm sorry.
They're sticking with him because they're going to make money off it. Yeah.
And also, I mean, Warner Brothers has stuck with the Harry Potter franchise as well.
Again, they're going to make insane.
They're making money.
Yeah.
And like they're just like, no, so we're sticking with this. So like there's like times where, I mean, we've seen ridiculous things where people cancelled for stupid things that they've said like on social media 20 years ago.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, there's difference of...
It's difference of opinions. It's very easy to put out a tweet, to put a YouTube video. I mean, we're doing the same things right here, right now. Not everyone is going to agree with like our sentiment and that. And
look, if you don't agree, that's fine.
Yeah, just subscribe. Like, I don't care if you don't agree to anything. Just thumbs up.
And like or dislike or comment or whatever you want. Engage with us.
Engage. Oh, man. Okay. The last one for today. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi's BBC docket. This is controversy central. What's happening? Man, what is happening?
You're trying to get me...
You're trying to get yourself cancelled. You brought these topics in.
I will not be allowed in India after this. Yeah, so Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, BBC of the UK, BBC broadcaster.
Yep.
They have a 2-part documentary on Narendra Modi, and it was pretty controversial in that it got banned in India. Banned from, you can't even go to the website, you can't download it, you can't see anything, and it's a lot of people crying out that this is
it's a hit piece.
It's all, I guess, the pro Modi people are saying it's a hit piece.
Yeah.
A lot of people are saying that this is against free speech as well in India.
What is it about?
It is about Modi, and so in 2003, because he was the state minister of the state of Gujarat in India. Yep. Which is, I believe, East India or West.
You put two directions out there.
But he was a minister of Gujarat, and in 2003 there were these tensions between, I guess, the Muslim and Hindu populations there, which ended in riots, violent riots. And there was a pretty famous thing where he he got called out, and he was, I think a police officer called him out, or was in that he just sort of let it happen. He said, like, for 3 days, let it happen, and then this was the time when, like, there was a lot of I guess Hindu mobs were going after Muslim families, finding them in their houses and killing, beating, raping them, all that sort of stuff.
So you're saying during that period,
he said let it happen for 3 days. And apparently he said,
okay,
let it happen for 3 days, and then I'll say we need to stop. And the timeline of how it worked out is it did happen for those 3 days. Basically most of Gujarat was on fire. People were violent, and it was pretty horrific scenes, and he let it happen, and they expose
allegedly. You mean?
Well, they expose all of this.
Yeah. Okay.
In that.
So he's not being interviewed in this, right?
He was interviewed ages ago, I think, about this by the BBC. So they had it in their files, right? And they asked him about the response to this, and then he was like, "Oh, yeah, it's been a great response by the police." And it's like, and then the reporter's like, "Well, 500 people died. Is that really a great response?" And it's like, "Oh, you're just doing propaganda against me and stuff like that." So, I mean, this is just very indicative of the environment of India right now. So I mean, these are my views. So whatever you want to come at me with, internet, come at me with. But I just feel like ever since he got elected, India has gone back 20 years.
I thought India used to be overall view of Modi is positive.
No, it's not. So India used to be a secular country. And
secular in what sense?
Secular in that we have all religions there. We have we have Hindu, we have Muslims. It's a Hindu majority, but there is Muslims, there's Sikhs, there's Christians, there's Buddhists, there's everything. We have everyone, and we've been a secular country, and it just feels like ever since Modi has been elected, there has been a lot of laws and stuff passed that have favored that pro-Hindu nationalist movement. And that's why I don't know if you saw the other day in the news in Melbourne, there was this Khalistan sort of referendum, and a lot of Sikhs were looking to get the state of Punjab into its own country called Khalistan.
So they can...
because that's sort of part of all of this, is that they feel like it's not really a secular country anymore, so they want their own country. So it's just this sentiment that's sort of come on, and like also the controversy around the elections, where it's pretty much been proven that Modi cheated to win those elections. I mean, the voting machines where you'd pick the opposition, and then it's like, "Oh, congrats, you voted for Modi." So like that happened all around the country, and I mean, it's just something where now is free speech gone from India, because, I mean, if stuff like this can't be talked about even.
So it's still broadcasted in the UK, right?
Yeah, in the UK it's broadcasted. People protested as well.
In the UK?
Yeah, the pro-Modi
of course,
crew, they've gone there and protested. Well, a lot of, I guess, Muslims are just like, well, this is important because, a lot of people died. This is, very, like, why are you trying to cover this up? If you're supporting the other side, you're covering it up. And that's what they're saying. So it's very
pretty ballsy for the BBC to...
I mean... To
put their stamp on it.
But, I mean, it's just part of what Modi's sort of, tenure has been as Prime Minister. It's been one that's been very divisive. He's, I think, like, openly divided the country. And it's become a state now where it's starting to feel very totalitarian. Like, it's just...
one view.
One view, you're not allowed...
Take it or leave it.
You take it or leave it. You can't... if you're a minority, you can't speak up. And that's not what India used to be. That's not the India that I remember. And so, it's a controversy that, the BBC has, by a lot of, pro-Modi was come under fire for, but also been praised. I mean, the documentary highlights a lot of things that a lot of people don't know about Modi. Like you said, you think he was... I thought
from a perspective of outside of India. Like they view him. It seems like he has a relatively a good a good image. But
And that's because, and that is also because the media there is something that is
it's so painted, right?
heavily influenced by that government.
Yeah,
as well.
yeah, that's fair.
It's not the freedom of press as it was. The freedom of that's like, is India losing its freedom, and that's what I sort of am a bit disappointed about at the moment. Like I feel like India's gone back 20 years with this prime minister, and mate, whether they can recover is another thing. But
yeah, I think you can always recover, but the buck starts and stops with leadership, right?
Yeah.
Good leadership is so important. Yeah. What a way to end, mate. Look at you.
No, I mean, I'm just like,
God damn.
I'm just waiting for the comments now.
Comments will be great. I love it. Anyway, guys, thank you. If you've gone all the way to the end, we thank you. Again, like, thumbs up, subscribe, give us some comments. Good comments would be great. Any comments kind of works. And yeah, we hope to see you soon.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'll see if I can come back. It's been very good.
You're working for free anyway.
Yeah. Cheers.